The town up on the top table, because he's got this kind of sleepy shark Mike Tyson vibe. Sometimes you see Tyson at a press conference, he'd have his hoodie inside out, he'd be leaning on his hands, practically asleep almost. Then someone would say something to wake him up, and those kind of hooded eyes would just flick open, and you'd immediately just think, oh no, this guy's just said the wrong thing. He's laid back, isn't he, Moses? But there's an air of menace about him.
Yeah, very laid back. He speaks well. Doesn't get carried away with himself, I don't feel. He's quite grounded, especially for someone 19 doing as well as he is, as quick as he is. But, you know, he's confident as well, so he's kind of got that nice balance. I've seen him box a few times now, and I think he's the real deal. I do. You know, he's only 19 though, and he's about moving him at the right pace. This is obviously a step up, big step up, because even though Mariuszak was on the way out, wasn't he, really? Experienced, but Dennis McKean is obviously, you know, still ambitious. You know, lost obviously the last time with Hrgović 10 rounds, but it's, you know, that's a decent level. So this is a big step up for Moses.
It seems like they're willing to take more risks with Moses than they are with Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher's a big ticket seller, you know, so therefore they'll be wise in the fights they pick him, because they need to milk this kid as much as they can. You know, he sells tickets. They don't know how good he's going to be. They've got to sing and shout as much as they possibly can about him. With Moses, there's more of a risk, and that tells me there's more of a talent there, therefore they're willing to take that risk, to take the chances and step it up for him. That just makes sense.
Okay, I think he's going to
Speak
join
of the
us
devil
now.
and he shall appear.
Rolling subs, Moses Atama for Matt Macklin. And Moses, we've just been talking about you and saying that the reason we really like this fight with Dempsey McKean is the fact that he's not just going to come hoping something's going to happen. He comes expecting that he's going to win. You know, he's not just come to have a go and hopefully put up a good show. He expects to win.
And that's what's going to bring the best out of me. Like, listen, I haven't started boxing yesterday. I've been boxing since I was 9 years old. And it's like, this is the time I've been kind of waiting for this moment, where it's like I'm kind of getting to a fight where it's not like I'm just expected to blow him out. I'm pretty sure I am the favourite in this fight. I'm not too sure, but even if I ain't, I'm not too bothered.
And in terms of what kind of particular problems he will pose, do you watch your opponents much? Do you leave that to the team? Do you just wait and see what happens on the night and back yourself?
Of course not. I don't just wait and see on the night. It's just expected. I didn't know we can do that. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I will go in there and study, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't overanalyze it, because that's what my coach is to do. Like, I had a little look on his highlights against Hrgović. I looked at some of his fights earlier, but I've never really studied into him too much. Like I said, it's the job for my coaches.
Like, I know, being around you, stable mate around you and in the gym and stuff, but what is it about you that goes, give me a Joe Joyce, give me a Dempsey McKean, give me the... Because Johnny was saying just before you came up, the obvious comparisons between you and Johnny Fisher, and the trajectories and the different choices of opponents. What is it in you, about you, that goes, no, I want this guy, I want this name, I want this stature of opponent?
It doesn't matter for me. Like, as you know, obviously you're in my stable.
I'm just saying for everyone else to hear.
It's the hardest thing in the world to get me sparring, and like, when I have sparred the Dubois, the Joyces, the Joshuas, the Furies. Like, if you would have seen some of the sparring session, you'd be like, yeah, now I know where the kid gets his confidence from. And like, obviously, I know that sparring and fighting is two different things, but it still kind of shows you where you're at skillfully. And listen, it's a step up. It's a step up. I'm happy. And the comparisons with Johnny Fisher, I just don't see it. Like, I've been boxing since I was a kid. He's only just started not too long ago. And he's a nice fella. I like the man. Well, like, listen, if we obviously do fight one day, then, do you know what I mean? I don't feel like
is he on your radar? Because do you look back at him, or do you look alongside of you?
I don't look back at him. I don't look alongside him. I don't look in front of him. He ain't even really in like my kind of. There's no disrespect to him.
Yeah, I
but
understand.
I don't really like look at him. Like, I'm more like, I'm not even fixated on any opponent really. I'm just kind of like looking at my own game and what I can improve on, and then who's the next victim. That's all. I'm not really too bothered about who's there. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not trying to make trouble, but do you feel like you two will probably fight at some point?
Well, it's a little bit hard because we've got the same trainer.
At the moment.
So unless Ben's going to do alternate corners, maybe we do odds and evens, flick a coin or something like that, it might be a bit difficult, but who knows in the future? Who knows in the future what may happen? Because obviously I'm a little bit older, a little bit further ahead, but he is storming forward with the opponents he's choosing, with his way up the rankings and things like that. So yeah, look, it's a possibility. But at the moment, it's unlikely, and for a good beneficial reason on my part, at least. I've just gone through enough of a big heavy war, not my last one, but the one before at least. So I'm not trying to get stuck into a big heavy war anytime soon.
That was an excellent answer, I have to say. That was an excellent answer, very well handled. Logistical problems at the minute would make that fight difficult, but things change, you never know. Just before we let you go, the main event, those fighters will be up at the top table before too long. It was a sensational fight back in May, toed and froed, very close on the cards. I mean, firstly, how did you see it?
Well, how would I score it? Or
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's exactly how I scored the Ngannou Fury fight. It was like when I was there, I thought that Fury won that fight. But when you watch it on TV and you kind of see all the angles, I feel like, do you know what I mean? That maybe a different perspective to it. But listen, if Fury changes up the game plan, this rematch is in his favour because Usyk's won the fight. So in his mind, it's kind of like, I wouldn't change nothing because I won the fight. Whereas Fury, he can go back and he can analyse his performance and change X, Y, Z. So the fight is in Fury's favour, but it's just how much is he going to capitalise on his previous performance.
When you look at the level of boxing that was going on in there, the standard that they both provided, how far away from it did you feel that you are currently, or do you feel that you're not?
Well, how far am I away from that level?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm far away at all. Listen, to be fair, me and the lawyers was talking about it today. It's like, when I grew up here, obviously, you got this thing where it's like heavyweights, it's like, heavyweight boxing is like one sport, and then you got like all other sports, meaning it's like, you haven't got to be too skillful in the heavyweight division to win a world title, as long as you can crack. The thing is with me, I've not always been a heavyweight. When I learned how to box, I was little. Like when we went to the European Championships, I was a light heavyweight. So I kind of got the skill of the little guys. And then it's only like when I got to like maybe 14, 15, then I kind of blew up to a heavyweight. But I still got that skill level as a middleweight or whatnot. And I feel like that's what works in my favour. And not only that, I feel like, listen, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I feel like I can bang a little bit.
I think the big difference is experience. So you'll get guys that'll spar at different levels in their professional career, but they'll be so close in talent, and the only thing they're slacking is experience. Because Fighter B could beat Fighter A, but he's only had 3 or 4 fights. So what happens when he gets in against an opponent that's a different shape, a different size, a different kind of fighter? So it's experience that holds fighters back. Because I'm quite sure when you spar with AJ, when you spar with each other, it's competitive. So you wouldn't know there was such a massive level. So it's fight experience that makes all the difference down the line.
And how about yourself? Because you've had a huge win against Fraser Clark, and we know that with Riyadh season, the winner stays on and the winner will get another opportunity. And where do you want to go next? Who would you want to fight next if you could choose?
Me, I'm obviously waiting for this main event to happen, and then we start having and picking a plan from there. I think is the best route, because we all know how it's going to happen with the belts, and once they fragment and mandatories are called, and I want to be in that prime position to be a mandatory or a final eliminator, a final eliminator or something like that. So it's not a name in particular, it's picking a route, and it's the people that are in my way to my end goal is the plan.
And Johnny, with regard to the main event, it was a fantastic fight in May. We expect to have another really good fight again in December. We know that the IBF is now in Daniel Dubois' possession. That doesn't mean that the winner in December couldn't fight him, and then we'd have another fight for Undisputed. That could well happen. But at the same time, we do get the feeling that probably Fury and Usyk are coming towards the end. Is that how you see it? Because if it is, then after that, it's this would be a hell of a way to kind of go out, and then it'd be the land of opportunity. Or maybe we'd have to do it again if it was one each after two.
So when you're saying towards the end, they're not the Fury. I don't think it's a fighter he was, but he still has enough in his tank to know where this. That's his choice, and Usyk's choice is dealt well if they choose to. It's not like the fight's being beaten out of them, so they can't get any higher. And this is a great match for the both of them. They've done it once. You've got to remember when AJ and Usyk boxed. When AJ went into fighting the second time, you say, you know what, you try to outbox him, rough him up, get in there, get all over him. He tried to do that, which I think was AJ's best performance. And Usyk still understood the blueprint. Once he understood he could beat him once, he understood, right then, you've tried to beat me at my game. Now I know I've got the speed, I've got the timing. I know how hard you can punch and how fit you are. The same thing's going to happen again with Fury and Usyk. If Fury goes in there with the attitude, I'm not going to change anything, it's going to be exactly the same result. Now it's a case of the gamble. Fury's got to get in there. He's a better fighter, but not a better boxer. So he's got to use his size, use his boxing ability, but he's got to use the dark arts, sometimes lean on him, rough him up, get him complaining. He's got to make him feel uncomfortable. I've never seen anybody hurt Usyk like that, and I've never seen anybody hurt Fury like that. This fight is still close, but it's about tactics and how they do it.
So, Motors, we'll let you go. You're in demand, I think, but just as on your way out, how do you think the rematch will go, if you had to guess?
If I had to guess, listen, if Fury doesn't change nothing in camp, it's just going to go the same way. It's whether he will do it or not. He has to change something.
Okay, excellent. Thanks very much. Good to see you
Thank
as
very
always.
much, I appreciate it.
And we'll swap you back out for Matt Macklin. And interesting hearing Moses talk about camp there, because one thing we do know is that there won't be any changes in the corner for Tyson Fury. He's going to keep the same corner as he had the last time around, which will be Sugar Hill, Andy Lee, and his dad, essentially. A lot of criticism after that first fight. I'll go down the line and ask you all, do you think it was justified, or did it just happen because he lost?
I think it's part and part. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If he'd have won, then nothing would have been said, would it? It'd have been all praise. And because you lose, there's narratives thrown at it. I'm not a believer in a loss means you change your team and you move everything around and you rejig everything. I'm not a massive fan of that. I don't particularly believe in it. I believe in that you can look at something, analyse a fight and get it wrong. But it doesn't mean that you and the same team around you can then do that again and go, right, we've seen that's wrong, let's fix this and do this as a unit. Especially when you're going into such a big fight, such a big occasion. I think you need people around you that you're familiar with and also that you trust. And you trust their judgment to say to you, hey, you messed up there, you did this wrong. We set a plan in place and you did all those bits wrong. That's your fault. Now listen to us because we've been around and we know you and you trust us. And then hopefully we can get it right the second time around.
Yeah, totally. Look, it's whether or not, though, with the characters involved, you can trust them to, in the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment when it gets chaotic, can they, be quiet? Because, it was chaotic. If you've had a bad round, you don't need loads of different opinions being fired at. You've only got 60 seconds. By the time you get back on the stool, you get your heart rate down. If you get a drink, there's only so much you can take in. And if there's 4 or 5 different people firing different things at you, that's chaotic by anyone's imagination or summary of what happened. No, you obviously, of course, you don't have to get rid of people, but you've got to get it right and say, okay, if that happens again, this is how we do it, deal with it as a team. It's just whether or not then that will actually happen on the night.
Okay, with all the voices in the corner, you can't say it's good in one aspect when Daniel Dubois' dad did it and say it's bad in another because, Fury's dad did it, making noise and distracting.
Well, it's different people in a different situation in a fight, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. So the fighters are intelligent enough to know what they've got to do. A trainer's there to train a fight to get the job done. You work to a game plan. The trainer's job is to take the muzzle off. Once that bell goes, you get out there, get your job done. When you come, guide you back into what you use, that jab, use this, use what you work in the ring, and then. So it's your responsibility as the fighter to do your job. It's the trainer's responsibility just to guide you and tell, because in training, the boss is a trainer. In the fight, the fighter is a boss. He's the one that calls, and when he comes back, he's looking for advice. What do I do next? Okay, that worked, that didn't work. And so you can't blame anything what's happening in the corner. Tyson Fury's a very clever, intelligent guy when it comes to boxing. He knows it. He knows the art, and so therefore, it's his job to make sure he chooses the right tactics, follows the right instincts, and when they come back, it's the corner's job to spot what he's doing wrong, what they've worked on, and it's his job to implement it once the bell goes again.
Well, that top table, I wouldn't say it's filling up exactly. Brad Jacobs of Top Rank up there, of course. They co-promote Tyson Fury with Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, the Matchroom up there too, all just having a quick chat. Tyson Fury backstage. These two have been here for a while this afternoon, doing plenty of interviews. We're a couple of months out from fight night, so they can get this out of the way, then go back to camp and train uninterrupted until they get to fight night. Just one last one on the whole corner thing, basically. If you agree to train Tyson Fury, you know that John comes as part of the package, don't you? Sugar Hill knew that, and so you need to find a way of coping with it, don't you? Because he's not going anywhere.
Do you? Or do you say, as you're approached as a coach, and you say, look, this didn't work last time, and I, as your coach, I am the coach you've employed. You've employed me to do a job, and I don't feel I could do my job to the best of my abilities with your dad next to me shouting in my ear. I feel like that was affecting the fight. I feel like that was affecting me. It does.
Because if you're going to tell a son to tell his dad not to turn up, you're scared you're going to lose your job.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But you either
right,
you want to win the fight, or you want to lose me as a coach. Which one is it?
And if you value yourself and the role that you play, and you say, okay, but this is how I work.
Yeah, I know. I know coaches that will do that. They will say, look, you train how I train you. I'm your coach.
Don't ask me to do a job and then tell me how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't bring me in and go, right, you can do that bit, but everyone else is doing it. No,
that's what I'm saying.
My job is my job.
In our game, it attracts those people where you think, I'm on a good crack here. I'll just keep my mouth shut and say anything. We know coaches that are out there that do that. We know people that do that. So it's a case of that person that's in that corner, that's working, he's going to think, this is my job. And he's got to be courageous enough to, if it doesn't work for him, he's got to be brave to say it and risk losing his job.
But I think you have the evidence now as well, and you can go, look, that clearly did not work. We lost the fight. So some adjustments need to be made. And me, as the head coach, as the guy you employed to manage your career and put you in the right places, I think we need to get rid of this component. Whether that be his dad or whether it be the S&C coach, the nutrition, whichever it may be, he has to be the overarching voice. Like you said, outside of the ring, the coach is in charge. I run the game. Once you're in the ring, that's a different story. But outside, this is my team, my camp. I run all of this, and ultimately, you should be listening to me if you trust me. If you don't, do it your own way, and maybe it just goes the same way again.
Well, it's an interesting one. It really is. Sugar Hill has just taken his seat on the edge of the Team Fury table, and the beauty, Matt, for Usyk is, they don't need to change a thing. They don't need to have these discussions. But he could lob it in, Oleksandr, today if he wanted to. His English is getting better. I would be amazed, and it probably wouldn't be the worst idea if he did just reference it and say, I see you've kept the same team, and just a little bit cheekily say, well, I applaud you for that, of course. Probably. You can poke him a little bit with it.
Yeah, look, Usyk, he won the fight, so the onus is on Fury to make the adjustments and change. That said, Usyk will know that Fury is going to make adjustments, so he'll be trying to, make sure they're covered in any eventuality, what way tactically the fight plays out.
Fabio, let's just tap into your experience of preparing for a rematch when you had a hell of a fight the first time around, which you did against Fraser Clark, and going into the second one, we were all expecting that you would probably both have to go to that same well, or at least it would go deep, and it would go down to that classic thing of who wants it more and all the rest of it. We look at this one, I don't think anyone's really talking about anyone knocking anyone out here, even though Fury nearly got knocked out in that first fight. And then look what happened in your second fight. Rematches are difficult, aren't they, for that reason, because you've experienced 12 rounds with the other person, which makes you feel like you know what's going to happen the second time around, but as you turned out, you actually don't know anything, really.
It's a funny one. I think rematches especially are a spooky thing in boxing, But especially when you go immediately back into them as well, not maybe a little warm-up, then you go straight back into it. When you're going right back into a rematch, you have a feeling of, oh, I was just here. So I know his distance, I know his jab, I know where he's comfortable, I know where he's uncomfortable. But they've just spent the last 12, 15 odd weeks, however long, training to be different now, or be the same and make some slight adjustments. So it can be a funny one to have to go back into, because you have to plan for him to be the same but also be different, and it's a weird little mix of which side do you lean into more. But this then comes back to our same thing of them AAA level fighters being able to obviously make the adjustments in training, but also make the adjustments on the night as well. So having a plan A, B, C, D, and looking at it and going, right, plan A isn't working right now, let's go to plan C, let's try that out, see how that goes.
Yeah, and Usyk's coach will be thinking, if I was training Tyson Fury for the rematch, what would I do? What adjustments would I make? You're trying to put yourself in their shoes, aren't you? So that you're covered.
I wonder what Tyson Fury's attitude is going to be now. Remember the first fight, attitude, it was arrogance. It was, you're a little jumped up middleweight. Now he's been beat by that little jumped up middleweight. Will he be more humble?
Yeah.
So I want to see how he thinks here.
It's an interesting point.
London, England, the site of 600 years of history, and tonight, another moment in history. As Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Arum's Top Ranked Boxing, Gold Star Promotions, Gypsy King, K2 Promotions, and Stella will proudly present on December 21st, the rematch the world has been waiting for. And this is for the universally recognized heavyweight championship of the world. And it's all sponsored by Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, New Muraba Development Company, Tahwania, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfiti. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, our gratitude and special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and thanks to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. That's right. Seated on stage behind me, ladies and gentlemen, for this special press conference, Mr. Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions. For Bob Arum's Top Ranked Boxing, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Brad Jacobs. Manager for Tyson Fury and Head of Gold Star Promotions, Spencer Brown. The Head of K2 Promotions, Alexander Krasiuk. And representing Oleksandr Usyk, his manager, Egis Klimas, and Usyk's head trainer, Sergey Lapin, and also on board for Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've met the folks that are going to tell you more about this fight, but let's meet the challenger and champion, the stars of the show for the rematch. First, the challenger. And then to the champion, to the stage first, his professional record, 34 victories, 24 wins by knockout, only one defeat with one draw. From the United Kingdom, the former lineal and two-time heavyweight champion of the world, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
Хорошая песня.
Two-time world champion, the challenger officially for this next one, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
Yes.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the defending champion. His professional record, 22 fights, 22 victories, 14 wins by knockout. from Ukraine, the former cruiserweight world champion, the reigning, defending, undefeated, universally recognized heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk. Here he is, the reigning and defending, universally recognized heavyweight world champion, Oleksandr Usyk. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host, Mr. Dev Sani.
Thank you, Michael Buffer. Let's hear it for Michael Buffer, by the way. Big fight feels when Michael Buffer is in town. We know it's about to go down. Okay, well, let's actually want to start this whole press conference. There's a lot of promoters, managers and trainers up here. I actually want to start by hearing from the challenger heading into December 21st. I want to hear from Tyson Fury. And Tyson, this is the first time in a long time you've been the hunter, not the hunted. First time in a long time you're the underdog, not the favourite. And first time ever you head into a fight with a loss on your record. Tell us what is going on in the mind of the Gypsy King.
It's actually been about 4.5 years. Was the Wilder 2 fight last time I was the underdog in these fights. What's going through my mind? I'm just looking forward to a fantastic fight. You know, last time in May it was a fantastic fight. Alexander won the fight fair and square. Just looking to put on a great fight again. You know, it was very close last time. He got it by a point. A little bit more focus, a little bit more lack of complacency, and I should do the job, what I need to do. You know, it's nothing drastic has to change, a bit more the same, a little bit more focus, like I say, and I will be victorious.
Thank you, Tyson. Let's get an opening word from Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr, you have been undisputed in 2 weight divisions. You have achieved your goal. You have climbed the top of the mountain. What is your motivation heading into this rematch with Tyson Fury on December 21st?
Hi everybody, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, here. What is my motivation? I don't have motivation. Only my regime, only my concentration. This is my motivation. Enough.
Enough for now. Enough for now. We'll be coming back to you, Oleksandr. We'll be coming back to you as well, Tyson. Let's bring in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, we were talking earlier, it's been about a year since this whole Riyadh season thing started with boxing. It's been absolutely incredible. What a fight coming up. What a year it's been.
It's been an unbelievable. You know, last October was the first one, which was Tyson. He opened up the Riyadh season against Ngannou. Since then, we've had some brilliant nights. You know, for me, the standout fight was these 2 guys. I mean, it was history. First time the 4 belts were on the line. You had 2 undefeated fighters going into the fight. It was a magnificent fight. Unbelievably top quality heavyweight bout. And the next one is going to be, I think, every bit as good, if not better, because they've been in the ring with each other. They've shared that ring. I know they've got respect for each other, and I know they'll be looking for clues to try and negate what they feel the other guy's best moves will be and so forth. But you know what? It's just going to be great. It's going to be great. And I believe in Tyson. I believed in him from day one. And I believe he can go and do this business in style. You know, we've had great fights in the Riyadh season. You know, we've had 67 boxers on the cards, 42 title fights, 14 world title bouts, 5 unified titles and 2 undisputed, all in 12 months, as well as the Riyadh season events in Los Angeles and London. London was the biggest live gate in UK boxing history. And then what happened about this? They got His Excellency and Riyadh season got the promoters working together. They got the TV companies working together. Never been known. TNT, DAZN, Sky, all working together to continue to support the greatest sport in the world. The boxing landscape is in the best shape it's ever been in because of Riyadh season. And we've got on the 21st of December, the fight. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Frank. Let's bring in Alex Krasik from Team Usyk. Alex, it was a great night for you in May. I did hear you say, however, that you feel the referee stole a knockout win from Oleksandr Usyk in the 9th round. Give us your thoughts heading into the rematch and your reflections on the first fight, please.
Hello, London, the capital of boxing in the world. Dev, thanks for the question. I will not, unfortunately, answer it because it was in the past. Now, as Usyk used to say, we have the present and we are making the future in the present. So after having been so fortunate to see the undisputed heavyweight championship between 2 best athletes in the world, which is a unique fortune, a unique phenomenon. But seeing them fighting for the 2nd time in a row is almost a miracle. So thanks to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh for making fans' dreams come true. I wish both guys go through their respective training camps healthy, well prepared and ready to go, and let the best man win again. Thank you very much. God bless all of us.
Thank you, Alex Krasik. Completely swerved the question. Let's bring in Brad Jacobs, very much in Team Tyson. Brad Jacobs, of course, from Top Rank. You were there to witness an incredible fight back in May. How are you feeling about this one, and how confident are you that your man Tyson Fury here will get the job done?
Very confident, of course. Well, thank you, first of all, Dev, and everyone involved in the event. Especially Gia, His Excellency, Sella, the companies, Queensberry, Team Usyk. Look, Tyson Fury is best with his back to the wall. We've seen it a few times before with the Wilder and Klitschko. He's sort of in that position again, and I have no doubt that Tyson will become victorious again in a Tyson-esque way. We don't know what way that'll be, but it will happen. One of his performances on the 21st. So we're really looking forward to it. Thrilled to be involved. Bob would have loved to be here today. Had a previously scheduled engagement, but we're looking forward to the 21st.
Thank you, Brad. Just want to bring in Eddie Hearn here from Matchroom, who is on the Tyson Fury side of the table. Eddie, you were there?
What is going on in this building?
How exciting.
Is this Eddie Hearn on my table?
You must have a chirp on me being on your side, I'll tell you. Thanks to Frank and Spencer for inviting me out. I do feel like a bit of a competition winner. Sorry, Alexander. I mean, look, you know, whoever wins, I'll be nice and fair and honest as always.
Don't worry.
On the 21st, I'll be on their side after, you know. Just on behalf of His Excellency in Riyadh season, I mean, I think they mentioned Alex Krasik. The amazing thing is seeing this fight not once but twice in 7 months. Because the best way to describe this fight is the first one. It's very unusual for me to be in that position watching 2 guys that I don't have any business in. And the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. My heart was beating out of my chest watching this fight because I love boxing. And for me, that was the ultimate in the sport of boxing, the undisputed heavyweight world championship. And listen, as a outsider, as a, you know, someone with no skin in the game, let's be honest, this fight was close. When those decisions were being read out, no one knew which way it was going to go. And Oleksandr Usyk proved himself as the pound-for-pound #1 in the sport. Just a remarkable fighter, undisputed cruiserweight world champion, undisputed heavyweight world champion. And, you know, every time I've bet against Tyson Fury, he's proved everybody wrong. So you can't rule him out in this fight. And all the respect for Oleksandr Usyk. We have to be Team Britain for this fight, and I just urge every fight fan to make your way to Riyadh on December 21st, because last time the atmosphere was incredible. Forget what people say. Oh, the atmosphere isn't great out there. The atmosphere was incredible for the last fight. We've got an incredible undercard, one of the best fights that can be made in boxing. Good luck, Tyson. Good luck, Oleksandr. This is exactly what the sport needs. You've both been tremendous for the sport of boxing. May the best man win.
Thank you, Eddie Hearn. I want to hear from Spencer Brown of Gold Star Promotions. Now, Spencer, again, you were there at the very start of Riyadh season's involvement in boxing. What an incredible year it has been. That's point one. Point two is, you said that you've seen something different in Tyson Fury heading into this fight. Tell us a little bit more about that as well.
Well, Riyadh season it's just blown everybody away. The quality that's been on there, the standards, it's made some of the lower ranked boxers come right up. We've seen people fighting for world titles that maybe we thought would never, and Turki Al-Sheikh has made that his priority to do that, and made all the biggest fights in the world we could think of, really. I mean, we just had one, but I think this one on the 21st will be the biggest fight this year. I think Tyson Fury will come out victorious. The boxing it's just a job for Tyson. If you speak to him, it's just a job. It's like taking the bins and the bags out. It's just a job for him. But he's got 10 weeks now, 10 weeks of hard graft. He's going to be bigger, stronger, and he's going to do his best. And I think he's going to beat Oleksandr Usyk, who, let's not take anything away from him. He's some unbelievable fighter. I still believe that Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world, and I think we're going to see that on the 21st. And good luck to both teams, and let's hope there's no incidents in the training camps or anything that could put a block on anything, because as we saw the last fight, it was incredible, and I think we're going to in Britain, we're going to have our champion back again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Spencer Brown. Let's go back to the Usyk side of the table. Egis Klimas, the manager of Oleksandr Usyk. Egis, I've seen a few comments from you online reacting to things that Tyson Fury has said. Are you okay with Tyson Fury? What's going on there? And also tell us why you feel your man's going to repeat the job on December 21st.
Good evening, London. Very happy to be here. Where we go again, you know, for Usyk Fury. It used to be Fury Usyk, right now it's the Usyk Fury, December 21. The last fight, as everybody saw and witnessed, it was incredible fight. It was a big entertainment fight for fans. Half of the fight, nobody knew what was going to go on, who's going to win, who's going to be a winner. But I think Oleksandr, not I think, but I know, Oleksandr picked up a pace for the end of the fight, and he pulled out the fight. We were lucky to become as the winners. As far as the upcoming fight, it's hard to predict. It's boxing. We know. We've seen many. Sometimes you can win, but nowadays the judges just see us different than we see a fight. But hopefully the judges is going to be very fair for the fight. And my biggest wish, both guys become without the cuts, then we don't have to curse each other. And the best man going to win December 21. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Egis. Just a final one for yourself. I did see some comments with you and Tyson Fury online. Everything okay with you guys? What's going on there?
Of course, everything is okay. Look, we're a professional. Some are professional boxers, some are professional managers, some are professional promoters. We need to promote a fight, and sometimes we're just getting out of a lane and start fucking each other, and which is nothing we can do much about it. This is a sport. This is an environment we're in, so nothing new here.
Apologies for the language. I wasn't expecting to have to say that after Aegis Klimas spoke today, but there we are. Thank you, Aegis. Let's head over. Let's talk to the trainers. Let's speak first to Sugar Hill, very much Tyson Fury's man, heading into this just like you were in the last few fights. Has Tyson Fury got to do anything different, and what happened in that first fight as you reflect on it?
I've been listening to everybody talk, and everybody's talking, and everybody's saying the right things. It was a great fight. It's good for boxing and all of that. The only thing I have to say is that in life, you learn from mistakes. You learn in life. And, yeah, you have to better yourself. So that's pretty much it.
Has Tyson Fury got to better himself for the rematch?
I said it already.
Okay, over and out from Sugar Hill. The mic has been removed. Back to Eddie Hearn. Eddie, let's bring in Serge Lapin, very much the Usyk camp, Usyk's trainer. Serge, has Oleksandr got to do anything different in the rematch, or did everything just go to plan the first time?
Good evening, everybody. We analyze almost every action and do the hard work. Thanks RTF team for opportunity to utilize modern technology is our work. We'll be hearing from sound. Usyk, Usyk, Usyk.
Okay, and tactically, is everything still the same?
We see you 21st December in tactic, technique, and new physical style.
Okay, we look forward to it, Serge. All right, let's speak to the fighters again. Tyson, I'm going to bring you in here. I saw a post on your social media. You said, "I know what I have to do. I saw my shortcomings, and I am inevitable." Tell us about that.
Listen, we did the fight in May of this year. Great fight. I know we keep bragging on about it, but it's in the past now, so we've got to put that behind us. What happened in the fight was a good fight for the fans, and we move on from that. But like I said earlier on in my opening statement, I have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more smart to get the victory. As it would seem, my rematch with people is always ends up one way. I always end up knocking them out in the rematch. Whoever I've faced more than once has been knocked out in the rematch. So I'm envisaging something similar in the second fight with Usyk. All I can do is prepare well, train hard, eat well, go to bed early, wake up early, do the right things, listen to people around me, and the rest is in God's hands. And last time in May, it wasn't my time to win, or else the Almighty would have given me the victory. And I'm very happy that Usyk got the decision, because God's timing is not late, it's not imperfect, it's perfection. So that was meant to be, and we're going to find out what's going to be meant to be in December the 21st. I believe it will be my time this time, and I believe that all things that happen, negative or positive, are lessons. We must learn from the things that we go through in our lives, and we can only do the best we can do as human beings and as boxers and as fathers and as husbands and everything else. We can only do the best we can do as men. And that what we know how to do best is go in there and knock the fuck out of each other in a fight and to put on a show for the paying customer. And I hope you guys will enjoy this fight as much as I will. I'll see you all on the 21st. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tyson Fury. Oleksandr, please tell us about your outfit, about your briefcase, about your gloves. This is a whole new look. What can you tell us about this?
I don't know.
What's in the briefcase, Oleksandr?
It's just character.
Go on. He's thinking about it.
You can decide.
Yes.
To confirm this is a photograph of the first fight, Oleksandr Usyk is asking Tyson Fury to sign it.
I look like Shrek in the picture. It's a picture of me taking a big left hand to the jaw. And he is it's a nice one.
Oleksandr, if you'd like to show the camera, please.
You will find it tomorrow on eBay.
There you go, signed and sealed from Oleksandr Usyk. Probably not on my press conference list today. Oleksandr, tell me this, do you need to do anything differently than what you did in the first fight, or was it all just okay?
No.
That's a pretty firm no from Oleksandr Usyk. And Tyson, there's I know you've already said goodbye, but I just want to bring you back in here. One of the comments out there was Tyson had too many voices in the corner. He needs to make changes. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. But I understand it's very much the same team and the same dream, right?
Yes.
What is going on? Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. Well, we are expecting a phone call to come in very shortly, but let's keep things moving. We're expecting a phone call to come in from someone very important who's been involved in making this fight. Oleksandr, if you can't say yes or no, did anything surprise you about Tyson Fury the first time? Any surprises from Tyson Fury the first time?
Yes, of course.
What were they?
A lot of surprises.
What were these surprises, Oleksandr?
I don't remember.
Let's fire that question over to Tyson Fury. Did anything surprise you about Oleksandr Usyk?
Guess what? I don't remember either.
Okay, nobody remembers the first fight. I certainly remember it. It was a great fight. It was May this year. But they're going to do it again on December 21st. I'd like to get a kind of message here. I'm not sure what I'm going to get, but Tyson, do you have a message for Oleksandr Usyk staring down the table? You've signed a poster for him. Anything else?
No.
And Oleksandr, final word to you, champ. What is your message to Tyson Fury?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to thank you so much. Brilliant. Very much a wordy press conference, which we won't forget. We're going to get some face-offs down the front. Thank you very much.
So Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk, not particularly effusive up there, I think it would be fair to say. There were an awful lot of people on Tyson Fury's table getting involved, which was quite entertaining. I don't think we really expected them to say, oh, we now have a message, I believe, from Turki Usyk.
December 21st. The event will be seen live on the Zone and TNT Sports around the world.
I think I may have jumped the gun somewhat on that one, but I think we are expecting, or were expecting, some kind of message from His Excellency at some point during the press conference. I don't think that's quite going to transpire, but there are our two main eventers. And Fabio, I was just saying that we didn't expect too much different, although what we did get, which was different, was that kind of entrance from Usyk and the outfit. You know, he likes to think about these things. He enjoys this side of it, doesn't he? And it works, doesn't it? The whole thing works.
Yeah. Look, I think we've almost in a slight role reversal. It's usually Fury with the dramatic entrance, the dramatic costume. I know when he turned up in the Batman outfit once, whenever he wears a suit, he usually doesn't even wear a shirt underneath. And then there's a bit of a change now where it's Usyk who's playing the game a bit more and playing up to it, but he has always been a great character of the sport. And the thing is, he does it so subtly and simply. He doesn't need to do much or say much. Even just the yes or no answers up there had us giggling and laughing and playing the game. But when it comes to a stare off like that, the switch of him to be the character, the fun guy, and then that menacing stare can just flick of a switch. He can just turn that on.
Absolutely. Tyson Fury greeting it with a smile. And Matt, we were asking Fabio about the psychology of rematches before we went to that main press conference, and it is really interesting because both of them there choosing to say, look, what happened in May doesn't matter. I don't even want to talk about it. You know, I don't even remember it. They're looking to try and just turn a new page here and focus fully on the next fight, as if the first one doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, look, obviously it's another fight, isn't it? But the first fight's got no bearing on it in that regard. But at the same time, you are going to look at what happened in the first fight. You are going to think back to what worked, what didn't work. Did he feel stronger than you thought he did? Did he hit a bit harder than you expected? Was he a little bit quicker? You know, was he buying the feints? He wasn't buying it. Yeah. Of course, you're going to look at the performance. It was the last performance you had, and it was against him. How can you not look at it? Of course, you're going to look at it. You know, got to say, I felt sorry for Dev there at the end. It was like being on a bad date or something. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get blood out of the stone.
Trying his hardest.
He had
this is fun.
He had Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol for a week, who didn't really say a lot.
Not 2 good weeks in a row, really, is it?
But at least they, you know, Russian was their, you know what I mean? English wasn't their first language.
Yes.
I know Usyk, but he's better than them.
When they started trading one-word answers, I did feel for our man there, absolutely. In terms of rematches, though, Fury does have good experience of them. That was the point he made up there. The Wilder fight, for example, the first time he got the draw, a lot of people felt he won, but he got the draw boxing a certain way. I kind of felt, like a lot of people did, well, he just needs to do the same thing again, and if the judges are better or if he just is slightly more emphatic, then he'll win. He just went back to the drawing board completely, though, and just thought, no. That was no good.
Yeah.
Do you think we might see something completely different?
Well, yeah, look, that proves that, like we've already said, a AAA, them top tier fighters, one needs to be able to make adjustments in camp and on the night. And I think Fury is the proven guy in that sense to have done that already and done it emphatically as well. And like you say, completely changed the style. You thought, oh, okay, maybe just make a little adjustment there with the Wilder thing, make a little adjustment there, and yeah, cool, you get the win by a few points. No. He's gone, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to steamroll him this time. I'm going to pack the pounds on, I'm going to walk forward, I'm going to put him on his back foot, and I'm going to land the bombs. And his plan came off perfectly in that sense. So yeah, he's proven he can do it. Usyk is a different operator, is a different brain entirely to try and play with. So whether you can do it again, whether you can do it to the same level is a question of itself.
What do you think, Matt? Because as Fabio says there, Usyk is an absolutely top level fighter, and it was a split decision. So the temptation would be not to, you know, rebuild everything, because you were very close the first time around. But he's bold, Fury. He's shown us that in the past before. He's not afraid of a gamble. Could we see a bigger Fury who looks to be more aggressive from the beginning?
Yeah, I think so. I think he, like I said before, I think how he approached the start of the fight, electing to box on the back foot, I thought it was a mistake. I thought he gave away the first 3 rounds and he allowed Usyk to get his tail up and really get ahead in the fight. Yeah. And that, I think this time I'd be surprised if he does that again. I think he'll take the centre of the ring, and I think he'll look to back Usyk up from the very first bell.
Just peering over at the table, over at that top table, there is an absolute scrum of operators around these two. Hopefully the pair of them will make their way in our direction before too long, and you can just tell from the turnout here today again that there is huge interest in this fight. And when we were over there in May, you could tell as the week wore on just how the fight was catching the imagination, because a lot of British fans did make it out there. I think it'll be the same this time around. I think there'll be even more, to be perfectly honest. And the atmosphere in the arena on the night was the best that we've experienced in Saudi Arabia so far, I would say, and I wouldn't see any reason why it would be particularly different this time around. And when you have such a good first fight, it can be hard to live up to it sometimes in the rematch, and the fighters certainly will feel under no obligation to give us what we want. For them, it's all about the results.
I think it'll be a better fight, because look, you know, Fraser and Wardley had a great first fight, and I remember thinking this could be we're all thinking it's going to be another great fight, but it might take a while because they might be apprehensive to start with because, you know, they both got hurt, they were both knackered in the fight, so they might try and take it a bit slower. But in this fight, you know, Usyk, it was a fight that ebbed and flowed, didn't it? Usyk got ahead, Fury come back middle of rounds, then Usyk got ahead again, then Fury finished strong last round. So, like, no go, apart from Fury being hurt and tired in the ninth, that, you know, they were generally okay with each other's power. They took big shots off each other, and they've done 12 rounds loads of times. Like say Wardley and Fabio, they'd never been 12 rounds, so that you could understand how they might be a slower.
Do it again either.
No. So you might be a bit more apprehensive because you're trying to pace it a bit better and all that. You know, these two, they've done 12 rounds loads of time. I think it'll start quicker. I think, like I say, I think Fury will think, no, I ain't backing off and giving away early doors and let him get his tail up. I'm going to jump on him first, pal. So I think it'll catch fire faster.
Well, here's hoping, and of course you can't rule out the prospect of a trilogy. That's a definite possibility, depending on what we see on December the 21st. And they've had a good break out of the ring, these two as well. It was mid-May, it'll be mid-December by the time they get it back on again. And I think that's good too as well, Fabio. 7 months out. It was a pretty hard, gruelling fight. We felt like we were always going to see a rematch. In fact, we knew we were always going to see a rematch. If you're the defeated fighter, the fighter who lost to Tyson Fury, does it matter how long it takes to get back in the ring? Is it going to be frustrating for him maybe that it's going to take 7 months to get back in the ring? Is too much time to think a good or a bad thing?
I don't think, no. I think I probably speak from this more personally. The only thing with a lot of time in between something is the ambiguity, is if you don't know. So if it wasn't obviously solidified that they were definitely going to have the rematch and it was definitely going to go on, if it was a if but and maybe contract negotiations and this and that, that's the bit I think, me speaking personally as a fighter, you get frustrated with, of training, ticking over, waiting. Is it March? Is it May? Is it August? Is it September? I don't know. Whereas if you have a set date and you know, right, I'm going to relax for a little bit, I'm going to tick over, I'm going to get into it, and you can build that process, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's a good thing for both sides, to be honest.
Yeah, that uncertainty of knowing when the next fight's going to be sort of makes you not enjoy your rest time, really.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Because they knew for a while this ain't going to up until December. You think, right, we can chill out now, do what I need to do, and plan. And I think, right, at that point, then I'll start doing a bit of easing back into it. And then at that day, I'm foot to the floor, and we're all go. So, yeah, I think it's been and you know what? They probably both needed a bit of rest, not just because it was a good hard fight, but don't forget there was the fight that got pushed back. So they've probably been in training for a long time for the first one. So you need a rest after that.
Okay, so Frank Warren has come up to.
How you doing, big man? You good?
Has come up to join us. Always a pleasure to see him. Frank, it's never dull with these two, is it? You never really know what you're going to get. There were some one-word answers there, but how you were much closer to them than we were. How are they?
At the end of the day, they're very respectful of each other. They shared the ring in a magnificent fight. You know, the biggest heavyweight fight of the 21st century, and a close fight. It was a split decision. Both of them felt they won it. He got the decision by Oleksandr, and they're all they're talking in the ring on the 21st. They're past all that. They're past all the banter and all that. They know what to expect. They've shared that ring, as I've just said. They know exactly what the other guy's got, and now they'll be thinking, both of them, I mean, you're fighters, you know it. They'll be thinking, right, last time he did this, I've got to make sure that don't happen, and vice versa. That's what it's going to be about. And it's going to be about, because that was a tough fight for both of them last fight. I went in the dressing room after the fight and see both of them. And for me, it's going to be who it took the most out of the fight, because it would have taken something out of both of them.
I think that was a question going into even the first fight, that did the Wilder fights take a lot out of Fury, because he took some big hits, he had to get up off the floor a lot, and not similar, but obviously we know he was hurt in the ninth of the last fight as well. So are the legs still there? They're a question as well. Obviously from your perspective, of someone who's been around boxing longer than I've even been alive, do you...
Steady on.
You're not Hall of Fame promoter for no reason. Do you think they have taken a heavier toll on Fury at the moment through the fights, or do you think that it's not so much a factor as it's being made out to be?
Look, first of all, they were tough fights, but Tyson's not got a lot of miles on the clock as far as the amount of fights he's had. You look at his career and how often he's fought. It's not quite a lot of time, certainly in recent years.
Never really took loads of stick in any fights either, has he?
He got caught with big, and you got to remember, Deontay's a big puncher, like yourself. He can whack. He's a big puncher. Catches most people, if he catches them right, they go. He got up.
Yeah.
He got off the floor. He done what nobody else could do, where he knocked him out, and that's the difference. And the thing is I look at Usyk. I look at that 9th round, and I think to myself, he had Tyson in trouble, but the next round he couldn't do the job. I mean, and Tyson got to the 12th and won the 12th round, even on all the judges' scorecards. They gave it to him.
He recovers well, doesn't he? When he does get hurt, he knows how to get through the moment.
I don't want
to
see him get hurt. I don't want to see any of that happening. But as I say, it's an intriguing fight. It's going to be a great fight because both of them believe in themselves. They really believe in themselves. They both believe they're the best. And we'll find out. We will find out. It's going to be a great fight, and I generally do believe Tyson will do the job.
Well, he's always been good in rematches, hasn't he, historically?
Yeah.
Not just the Wilder fight, but even way back with John McDermott.
He figures out the style, and he's a very, but they like all of us, like you mentioned earlier, we're all getting older.
Yeah. And
it's what you can do as you get older. And the thing is with Tyson, for me, he's a very, very smart boxer, and he works people out. And having shared a ring 12 rounds with Usyk, I believe he knows what he has to do.
I was saying to the lads, I think he gave away the first 3 rounds in the first fight by boxing on the back foot. I don't think he'll do that this time. I think he'll take the front foot.
I thought he lost the first round. Second round was even. I thought after that, up until the 8th round, I thought they were his rounds. It was a fight of 2 halves at the end of the day. And Usyk was quite aggressive to start with, which you didn't expect. He came out.
But I think Tyson let him come as well, didn't he? He was
getting, especially when he was in the corner with him. Yeah. When Tyson was in the corner, he starts standing square on Usyk, and that's where he was whipping up right hands up.
Him obviously losing, or we consensus saying that he lost them earlier rounds. Where do we think that comes from? Do we think was it overconfidence? Was it taking it a bit lightly? Was it maybe Usyk just surprised him a bit in some areas? From your perspective, where do you think that kind of came from?
I thought his tactics were completely right. And when Usyk went back to the corner in the 7th round, he was wobbling. He caught him a great uppercut.
Yeah, he did.
And most of the people I was sitting with all thought the next round he was going to struggle. But he came out, he flew out, and he hit Tyson on the nose, and Tyson. I thought he broke his nose or something, but Tyson, he kept touching his nose, pouring it in his face, and got through the round, that 8th round, and then the 9th round was just, for the first 2 minutes, he was doing okay, then it was a disaster after that. He got caught, and that was it. But he just lost it. He lost that momentum. That punch on the nose for me, that was the momentum and the change.
The real pendulum swing of the fight.
Out of nowhere. I mean, it's out of nowhere. But, that's what's so intriguing about it. They're both extremely, extremely good fighters. And this is the, heavyweight championship of the world is the biggest prize in the sport. And these 2 guys, I know they're going to put on something extra special, like they did in the first fight.
Have you noticed any kind of difference in him since that? Have you noticed any difference in Tyson since that first fight in any way particularly?
Tyson's a very philosophical person, and he know. I mean, we've had quite a few conversations. He said, "I know what I've got to do." The thing is, knowing what you've got to do and doing it. That's the difference. Can he do it? Can Usyk stop him doing what he wants to do? And that for me is going to be the telling point. But I think Tyson. He's got ring smarts, he's got fast hands, and he's the bigger guy. And more importantly, he's got to use that jab. He's got to, got to get out and work off that jab with him, keep him on the back foot. And I think that, like with most heavyweights, I'm not being rude about heavyweights, but you push most big guys back, and they're 20% of the fight they are coming forward, and that's what he needs to do.
I think as well. I wouldn't say it's been lost exactly, because I think everybody realises what a great fight it was, but I mean, it really was an amazing fight, and we've been waiting for Undisputed with the heavyweights for a long time, and people have been criticising the division and the sport. Boxing does itself no favours, etc. All of that. From your perspective, how important was it that they gave us what they gave us? Because it was so good.
Well, it was the biggest heavyweight fight of the 21st century. It's the first time there'd been a unification, 4-belt unification fight. It lived up to every expectation. It was a spectacular fight. 2 undefeated fighters in the ring, both great at what they do, and it doesn't get any better. And it was a fight that, as we said, it's a pendulum. It was a fight of 2 halves. That's what it was.
Probably 4 quarters.
Yeah, maybe. But certainly, that's how I see it. A fight of 2 halves, and I just feel with both of them that the next one will be every bit as good, if not better, because they know each other.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, but I think Tyson this time, I don't think he'll give away the early fight. I think he'll take the centre of the ring. I think he'll be a bit heavier than he was the first fight, and I think he'll look to push Usyk back early, straight away.
Okay, well, do stay with us, because Tyson has just gone backstage to have a chat with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, but he will be making his way over to the platform. Frank, in terms of the heavyweight division itself, we were talking about it with Moses Atama earlier on, and obviously they're right up there now too. How much longer do you think these two will stay with us, Tyson and Oleksandr? Because they're in their mid-30s, getting maybe nearer their late 30s than their mid-30s. They can't go on forever. What's your sense?
Well, I mean, no one can go on forever, that's for sure. There'll be a loser in this fight. I mean, if it's like it was last time and Tyson comes through, I'm sure everybody will be saying, right, now we've got to need a rubber match.
Yeah. Well, they will, won't they?
Yeah, and that's it. What happens with the guys in the meantime? Got to keep winning. They keep winning. There's 3 belts on the line this time. Daniel has one. He'll be defending his title. And then you're going to get mandatories, or you're going to get belts maybe given up. I don't know how it's going to work out. But the bottom line of it is everybody, yourself, Daniel, all these guys, all got to get into a position where they're the next ones. They got the next opportunity, whether they fight in a mandatory defence, or if it's a vacant title, interim titles. That's what's got to happen now with all of them, and they're in great positions to do it.
So would you say it's quite unlikely that the winner on December the 21st will then fight for Undisputed again against the IBF title holder? Is that something
if that happens, that happens, doesn't it? If Usyk loses, Daniel against Usyk is always going to be a great return match for obvious reasons. There you go. I mean, that'd be a defence. If Tyson wins, there's been all that talk about AJ. I don't know whether that will happen or not, but the facts of the matter is there's so many permutations there to be had, and every one of them are a great fight. And in the meantime, yourself and all the other guys, they're all vying, all in position for other great fights. I mean, heavyweight division's never been so sexy. You've got to go back to the sort of 70s and 80s for this. It's been so good. And the good thing about it is the Brits. I mean, take Usyk out, take Zhang out, and is it Cavalier?
Most of us are QB boys as well.
The rest are all Brits. It's brilliant.
And most of them were in Queensbury, Frank, as well, which is...
Well, they're all sensible guys.
Okay, just before we let you go, you probably can't give away the entire plan, but what are you thinking with Fabio next?
Well, we're going to sit down with a team, and what I'm sort of preempting or saying before we meet, I think he should be fighting somebody in the top 10, and I'm sure that's what he wants to do. So we'll sit down and we'll look at the various options. Whatever happens, it's onwards and upwards. He ain't going backwards, he's going forwards. And he's going forwards wearing the gloves that he wore in that fight that were all above board.
Okay, that's
Not
a great...
that idiot who come out with that stupid remark.
You just need one... You've done your mandatories, you just need one voluntary to win the Lonsdale belt outright.
Yeah, if I wanted to hold on to that belt permanently, then yes, it would be one more defence.
Or has it gone beyond it?
I think there's brighter stars. There's bigger and better opportunities out there now. I've had that belt for
big
2.
Fish to fry.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic belt. It's prestigious. It's beautiful. I'd love to hold on to it, but I feel like I've had my time with it. I've had the fights that also give it the credibility to go with it as well. So I've had my piece, and there's new guys coming through. You saw him on the stage, Moses and whatever else. So it's their time. I'm not one to step in the way and block everyone and sort of hold on to it like forever. I've got somewhere I want to go now, and I'm happy to leave that bit behind.
Okay, Frank, thanks for your time. We'll let you go. We'll let you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Tyson Fury, as I said, he is backstage. He's talking to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. We can't get in the way of that, but he will be wending his way up onto our platform before too long. And it's good for the fighters to get this done, isn't it? We're 2 months out. Not that long ago, a launch press conference would come 12, 14 weeks out, but we've known this fight was going to happen for a good while. This is your last major press obligation, and then you can just lock yourself away until you actually get into the really serious business of fight week. And the bear of them, they'll have plenty of ups and downs, won't they, over the next few weeks? Just give us a flavour of what it's like preparing for a really big fight, because every now and again you guys will allow the press in and we'll see what we see, which is what you want us to see. But we don't really know what goes on behind scenes, and it doesn't matter how experienced you are and how confident you are and how Tyson you are and how Usyk you are, because they're amazing characters. They'll have some days and nights where they're thinking, God, I don't know about this, this is hard.
Yeah, well, I think because the first fight got delayed, but put back a little bit, they probably, by the time that fight happened, they were training quite hard for a long time, so obviously they needed a good rest. And get unfit. It's okay to get unfit. You've just been through that. It's okay to get unfit and then build back up. And I'd imagine the last couple of weeks they've just started getting going again a little bit. 10 weeks out now, I'd say they're starting to crank it up a notch.
And what's your experience of that been like, preparing for fights when you have a good lead time? You have all the time that you could possibly want, maybe a bit more than you would actually want to prepare for an opponent.
Yeah, well, look, the similarities, isn't there? Because after my 12-round war with Fraser, I needed a little bit of a rest. I needed to sit down on the sofa for a couple of weeks and just to chill out, let my body recover and just sort itself out again and find yourself again, and then ease yourself back into the gym. And it
mentally as well.
Yeah, it's not just the physical side, of course. You need to get your body right in the right shape, and you need to be in the right place and get your weight good and lifting strong and all of this. But your head needs to be there as well, because your head is the first muscle that you work every morning when you wake up. Your alarm goes off and you go, right, today, day 1 or day 10, day 30, day 12, whatever, you go, right, let's go, time to crack on. I've got this to do, I've got sparring today, my sparring partners are hard, but I'm going to put the work in. Or I've got sprints today. Oh, Christ, I hate sprints. But
you've got to want to be in the gym.
Yeah.
So if you haven't had a rest, you're not going to want to be in the gym, are you?
You've got to fight. There's little demons in your head you have to fight every day, and I think that's a part of camp, though. It's never going to run smoothly, no matter what we say as boxers, that we go, it's all been great. It never is.
Hello.
Okay, so we said that he would make his way over, and he's as good as his word, as always. So
Zebra is in the fucking house.
So Tyson, you spoke up on the stage about the need for everybody basically to learn from life, to learn from experiences that you have.
Yeah.
What would you say that you've learned from May? From May, from the fight in May, and coping with it in the weeks afterwards?
The biggest lesson I've ever learned is always use protection. Always use protection, and never keep your guard down low, because you can be attacked at any time from all directions.
But what was it like to, I guess, I don't know whether you have accepted it, but to accept the fact that there is now a loss on your record? Has that been difficult for you at all, or mentally for you?
Well, I walked in when Andy Lee was saying that it was difficult for him when he lost any losses he had. But like I said to whoever the guy was called, I don't even know his name. He's not popular, his own guy. But Andy Lee never had 200 million in his bank, did he, to make him happy? Do you know what I mean? So to me, boxing loss, what do I fight for? What is my priorities here? What are my goals? What are my targets? And all of those things are to make the most money as possible. For me, that's my goals. It's not a belt, it's not a legacy, it's not a boxing fight, it's to make as much money as possible. Okay? And to do that, I've got to have as many fights as I can until the wheels fall off this bitch, until I'm 50-year-old and I'm crippled on a stick like that, walking down the street. That's how I'll be. Because you know why? That's how all the great fighters went out. All of them. All of them. Look at your Ray Robinsons, your Ali's, your Foremans, your Frasers. Everybody did that. And if you're a real fighter, that's what you do. You keep going until you can't go anymore.
We're all prize fighters, and don't get me wrong, we all love a pound note. But do you genuinely, in your heart of hearts, believe that that is enough motivation to get you through, especially this fight in particular, or fighting in general, just the monetary value of it?
I've had nearly 40 professional fights, and I did every single one of them for the money. And if I wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't have done any of them. That's a fact. I'd have had a job in Tesco's or Mothercare as a bouncer. Do you know what I mean? I do it for the dough, but I'm the only person who will tell the truth. I don't come to these places and think, oh my God, I'm on TV and I'm famous. I'm thinking, how much dough can I get at any given moment in my career? For what? You want to do something with me? How much? You want me to advertise something? How much? The first question is, you want to fight? I don't care who, what, where or when. The only question I say is, how much? Because I have gloves and I have a body and I will travel if the money's right.
But Tyson
I'm truthful, do you know what I mean? You were like that. You had plenty of fights. You would fight on the road, anywhere, any country, anybody. How much am I getting paid? 2, right, I'm there. Argentina, Germany, wherever.
But Tyson...
Professional boxing, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
Prize fighters.
But when you were lying on your back against Deontay Wilder and you made that miraculous recovery and you got back up...
Yeah.
It wasn't money that was going through your head in those split seconds, was it? It was just that warrior spirit to get you back on your feet.
You don't think of money when you're in a fight, do you? You think of money when you're doing the business side of it. Yeah. When you get in a fight. When you're in a fight, you're in a fight. That's it.
So it's not just the money then that keeps you going?
You're thinking me mistaken here. When I'm in a fight, I'll die in that motherfucking ring. I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? But before that fight, if the business don't make sense, I'm not interested. Right. But while I'm in that fight, I'm like a game American pit bull terrier. You could chop my fucking legs off like they do, and I will still fight on to the end. There's no quitting me. I can look in the mirror and say, the Gypsy King is not a coward, and he will fight until the last dying day, until they take his head off with a sword. I will still be trying to fight. And even after that, my arms will be going like that, and my head will be separated from my body, because that's the way I'm bred.
So it's not, in a way, it's not whether you win, lose or draw, it's whether you can look yourself in the mirror and know that, what you just said there.
When you go in a boxing fight, you're always going in to win. Yeah, especially if you're a professional, and obviously if you don't want to win, you're in the wrong game. However, like I say, when I'm in there, I just do what I do. No one can tell me what to do. It's just a natural thing. I do what I got to do. Fight. That's it. You can either make two choices, fight or fly, when you're in a big fight. You either turn your back and run off like a coward, or you fight on till the end. And that's why we're here.
Has that image you say, that looking, that knowing in your heart that you can get up and go again, you're the fighter, you're the warrior spirit, looking at yourself in the mirror, has that person or the person looking back at you in the mirror, has that changed at all now that there is a loss on your record? Has that altered any sort of perception for you, altered the way you look at it at all, or is it still the same, I know me, I know my heart, I know my soul? Has it changed or has it not?
No, nothing will ever change the Gypsy King. This fella's got a foreskins win on me, this much. He win me by a fucking point, yeah?
Fair.
So, if I'd have went in there and got absolutely hammered and tanked out of there and battered to fuck, then, I could have made a decision, well, I got to change shit up here, I got to do something different. But, could have went either way. At the end of the day, even his manager said...
When you fought Wilder the first time, I thought you won, but to give it a draw.
Exactly.
You were completely different in the rematch, tactically.
Yeah. So... when the fights are like that and they're close, they can go either way. It went against me. It hasn't really affected me. It hasn't done anything because you know what? Whether I would have won that decision and I would have got another decision on my record, it'd been like I've been back here Morecambe in the same shit I do anyway. Picking up some dog shit, taking the kids to school. Do you know what I mean? I can do that with or without a belt.
Did you think, reflecting on the flight, that you gave away the first couple of rounds by boxing on the back foot, and next time think, I'm actually going to jump on you from the first belt?
No, I'm not going to do anything different. The only thing I'm going to do different is not get a standing 8 count in round 9. If I didn't get a standing 8 count, I'd have won the fight clearly. So, I just got to be a bit more focused. Here's the thing, right? I'm a very, very, very educated heavyweight boxer. I know it from inside out. So, if it was easy to walk Usyk down with your hands up like that there, walking forward, then that's Anthony Joshua's style. That's Daniel Dubois style. They're big, strong men who walk someone down with their hands up and batter them into submission and knock them out. They couldn't do it. My style is slickness, jabbing, moving, slipping and sliding. Why would I give that up to walk forward like that with my hands around my head? It doesn't make sense. I wouldn't do it. So all I've got to do to win this rematch, little tiny adjustments. And I mean small adjustments. And that is not so much clowning, my hands behind my back, ha 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 ha, having a good time. Yeah. A little bit more focus on my job, bum bum.
More uppercuts.
Serious, do you know what I mean? Just a serious version of what I already did. Not go forward like this or like this, just boxing. I've told him what I'm going to do. He said, oh, what's the game plan? I said, there's no change, mate. It was a nip and tuck fight. You got the decision. Fantastic. I'm doing exactly the same. I'm going to box behind the lovely long jab. I'm going double feinting, double feinting, body, uppercuts to the head, uppercuts to the body. But instead of doing this and this in between, I'll be focusing a bit more. Obviously, I know he can hurt me, and I'll just focus a little bit more, and I should get the job done. Simples. But as for drastic changes, where I'm just going to go forward and give it 3 or 4 rounds and then lay over, nah.
Does that add into why as well? Because a lot was made in the last fight, in the build-up, as to your corner team, the team that shoots for the fight and things. You believing that the fight was only won on small margins on his part, and you don't need to make too many adjustments. Yeah. Does that play into why you? Does that play into why you haven't changed the team at all? You've kept it the same. You have the same beliefs. Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, everyone's the same. You know, I don't change a team because how can I blame my cook or the man who's doing the strength work or
exactly
a trainer?
What I said.
Do you know what I mean?
What I said.
It's like, why would I do that? I've got to nearly 40 fights unbeaten, yeah, through doing what I do. So I wouldn't just change a team because I did something wrong. I got caught in round 9. That ain't Sugar's fault, is it? I got punched in the face. You know, it's my fault because 100%. I wasn't concentrating 100% at that given moment. You know, I don't think I'd be needing to change a trainer. I like Sugar. I like his style of training. We get on well. To go to a new trainer now at this stage, back end of 40 years old.
Was there anything that surprised you about Usyk in the first fight? Did he hit harder than you thought? Was he
No, he didn't hit harder than I thought. Being honest, as I always am, I tell the truth a lot, mate, and I'll probably get in trouble for doing it as well, but it was actually easier than I thought it would be. You know, I was just said, I listened to Tony Bellew and I listened to AJ and that, and he said, oh, this guy's so hard to hit, like he's a matrix. So I'm thinking, you know, this guy must be really hard to hit. Like, I'm expecting to be missing him a lot. But in realistic terms, he was much easier to hit than I anticipated. And it got me a little bit complacent because every time I throw an uppercut to the body or head or a feint, I'd hit him. So. Okay,
Tyson, thanks very much for your time. We're gonna need to let you go. I've been sort of peering at the pattern on your suit and wondering what's happening there, and I've just figured it out. So let's not. We probably
not to be discussed.
Middle finger in it.
Yeah. And that's to Usyk and his team and anybody who supports him.
Apologies, I probably shouldn't have brought it up, but I did, and that's on me.
Anyway, you did that one to yourself.
I did that one to yourself.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Good night. God bless you. See you all on the other side.
Thanks very much. We'll see you fight week. That fight coming your way, of course, on December the 21st, a rematch between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. As Egis Klimas told us, it'll be Usyk versus Fury this time around. We've heard from the undercard fighters. We've heard from the main event. Thanks for your company. Take it easy. We'll see you again next time.